If not me, then who? If not now, then when? Here's a different question to ask yourself. What are you waiting for? We often want change. We want things to be better. And we can sit around and pick at things all day long. And then we just continue sitting around and waiting for things to change, waiting for someone else to be that change, to start that change. But what about you? What about me? What about us? It starts with somebody, and if not me, then who? And if not now, then when? We watch all these movies and read these stories of these heroes and these true stories of people who change the world in some way and we get so inspired, yet we miss the point. Yeah, it's a nice story, but who was that person before all of that? Before all the change and the good that they brought to the world? Let's ask ourselves, were they just handed the world? Was everything just simple and easy for them to become the person that they became and to make the change that they made? No. They had to fight for what they believed in. They had some kind of obstacle. They had to prove themselves. It was work. And I do believe in destiny. And I do believe that we all have a purpose, we all have a gift. And so it starts with you. Change starts with you. You can choose to follow your destiny, to use your gift, yourself, to be the change, the catalyst. Passion and potential don't change anything. Purpose is the key. You have to fulfill your purpose. You can have potential, but if you don't put it to work, you're not going to get anywhere with it. I know people who have great potential, but they choose to opt out of putting it toward anything successful. And I know plenty of people that have passion. My goodness, I mean, I have passion for many things, but it wasn't until I decided, you know what, I'm going to go forward. I'm going to put this passion towards something. I'm not just going to have this desire for things to get better. I'm going to go ahead and make this podcast. I'm going to write these books. I'm going to do what I was meant to do, not just have the passion or the potential, but I'm going to fulfill the purpose. So, understand, if not now, then when? And if not you, then who? Things don't just manifest from thin air. Think about this. Businesses, charities, movements, leaders, churches, inventions, these all come from the blood, sweat, and tears of people who have decided to make their dreams reality, people who have put their foot down for that change to be made. You may have heard it said this way: if you don't contribute, then you can't complain. But you can contribute. You should contribute. You see, every person has a role to play on this stage called life. As Shakespeare famously wrote, all the world's a stage, and all the men and women merely players. So how are you going to play? Because you do affect others around you. There are influential people and there are toxic people. So which one are you going to be? You have to know that you do have the power to bring good into the world or bad. Or you can be a bystander, and guess what? Bystanders might as well be whatever they're letting allow happen, because you're not stopping bad. So I guess you're allowing it. You do have the power, the choice to make a difference. Now, when it comes to making a change, there may be obstacles. There may not even be a way to do what you want yet because it doesn't exist because nobody's done it yet, depending on the change, the good that you want to bring. But don't let that hold you back. Don't let that deprive other people. You can make a way. If there's not a way, you can make one. That's where you come in. That's where you create. That's where you become the change that you want to see. When there's a will, there's a way. We've all heard that. And that's a reality. So, guys, listen. Nobody really wants to be a victim. Nobody really wants to be weak or held back or held down. Sometimes we can make excuses or let things like fear keep us from moving forward. But we need to be strong. We are a strong people. And this is where you have to really make that choice to follow through. If you want to make a good change, there may be a reason why what you want to see is not flourishing where you're at, or is not even really a thing or allowed. One thing that we know is that the world likes to snuff out good. And so, again, it's not going to always be easy. It's not always going to be comfortable or even, like pleasurable. It could be very challenging and scary and risky. There's a reason why you have to be bold. You have to have courage. You have to be strong. And we've learned already that challenges are great. So challenge yourself. Once you've mastered yourself, then challenge the world. You may need help, people, resources. Go get them. Be the spark that starts the wildfire. Be that spark. Now, I'm not saying today and right out the gate, go change the world. What I'm saying is change yourself. Change yourself, and you will be like a ripple effect on the water, and it will spread to others. You have to be the example. You have to embody your passion, your motive. You have to be the lamp that shines the light that you keep telling others to follow. If you want to change people's hearts, they have to want to listen. They have to want to care. And that means you first need to listen. You first have to care. Because then they will start watching you. And we've also heard that actions speak louder than words. In this case, it's very true. Don't tell people how to live. Show them. If you don't live it and you can't prove it, then nobody will care. You cannot reach a person if they feel like you don't know them. So it starts with love and it starts with care. Just seek to understand them. their desires, the point of views, past experiences, fears, sorrows, ideals. And then they're more open to understanding where you're coming from. Abraham Lincoln once said, "Do I not destroy my enemies when I make them my friends?" And I like that because if you think about it, nothing has done more change than coming from a point of love. Y'all have heard the saying, kill 'em with kindness. Well, I mean, think about it. If you really want to bring change and you really want people to understand something, m- being coming from love and understanding, that's the first step. And so when you show that um you take on these things by being an example of the good and the change that you want to see, then they'll have something solid to believe, to watch, to follow. Treat others the same way that you want to be treated. Luke 6:31. So be the first to make that change. And if you're trying to push for a bigger movement, then you may need to do some research, put some time into some volunteering so you can understand the obstacles and your people and the resources down to detail. Bottom line, you can't just sit and wait for things to change. You have to be that change. Now, why do people fear change? Because it's different and it's unfamiliar. And we don't know the knowledge of the reward, but we see the risk. And depending on the example you must become, there could be sacrifice. And why do you think people would rather tell everyone what to do than to do it themselves? But guys, you got to stop complaining and start being part of the solution. You have to be willing to do whatever it takes, whatever that may mean. Do you really want the world to be better? Are you willing to fight for it, die for it, live for it, change for it? Or run, run away and hope that somebody does what you were meant to do and wishing for that change to come and die anyway and leave meaningless life behind? I don't know. I think the first sounds a lot more honorable. Life is more than food, and the body more than clothing. Luke 12:23. So, what are we concerned about? Our own comfort or our purpose in life? One of my favorite presidents, Franklin D. Roosevelt, has once said, "Courage is not the absence of fear, but rather the assessment that something else is more important than fear." It's facing the fear, standing up to the danger. Faith in what you believe and what you are passionate for. It gives you the strength, the courage to do what is good in a world full of hate, pain, and death. Listen, they can take away your life, but they can't take away your faith. They can't take away your purpose. They can't snuff out your light. Be the change you want to see. It starts with you. One of my favorite songs by Michael Jackson is called Man in the Mirror. In the song, he says, "I'm starting with the man in the mirror. I'm asking him to change his ways. And no message could have been any clearer. If they want to make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and make that change."